Listen up, guys. In this episode, I'm going to share some pretty big news. I'm going to share some pretty exciting news, and I'm probably going to shed some light on your blind spot. Yep, I'm talking about email marketing, the hidden gem of digital marketing. I think people basically ignore email marketing because they've gotten a lot of spam over the years, and they've got multiple email accounts dedicated to receiving those spam emails. And they get very frustrated by all the stuff that comes into their inbox, right? But from the marketing standpoint, email marketing is not a joke. The average ROI for email marketing is $42. $42 for every $1 spent, which translates to an impressive 4,200% ROI. That's according to Data and Marketing Association UK. And the highest email marketing ROI is in retail, e-commerce, consumer goods sector at 45 for one. So you're making $45 for every $1. And then it's followed by marketing and PR agencies, guys like me, right? And then software and technology. That's amazing. That's amazing. So keep that in mind as you listen today, because I want to educate you on this amazing thing that maybe you've been ignoring and you've been kind of going, I don't need to do it, and things like that. HubSpot says that 4 out of 5 marketers would rather give up social media than email. And I myself am one of those people. I would rather that you not do social media marketing than give up email marketing, right? So email marketing is amazing. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how amazing it is. Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Silas Kimide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app once you've listened to one of our episodes. All right, so email marketing gets a bad rap, right? Email marketing gets a bad rap because we've gotten unsolicited emails. We've gotten promotions. I once signed up, naive me. I mean, I really shouldn't be naive. I'm in the marketing industry, right? I once signed up to receive more information, get this, from a car dealership. My email inbox was overrun. I had to abandon that inbox, right? I mean, that's how bad it got. I mean, that dealership sold my email to every lender, every insurance broker, every other dealership, and I was getting emails I was basically looking for a minivan at the time. I got emails so bad, so frequently that I just had to give up my inbox. And also, I mean, so we've been burned by email marketing. So we think, okay, you know what? Email marketing is not for us. I mean, who remembers the Viagra ads when Viagra came out? SEO ads. I mean, emails, it's crazy, right? So today what I want to do is I want to dispel all those myths. And what I want to do is I want to talk about why email marketing works. So that's the first thing I'm going to cover. I'm going to also talk about the types of email marketing campaigns you could do for your company. And then I'm going to give you some examples of successful campaigns by well-known brands and maybe how they've done it. And then I'm also going to talk about how a small business like yourself, I mean, you're obviously not Apple, you're not, sometimes reading a case study from Apple is like, might as well be reading, how Jesus overcame sin, because with an infinite budget like that, of course they're going to do well. So how is this impactful for a small business like you? And then also the type of email marketing campaigns you can execute. So let's get started with this, right? So let's talk about why email marketing works. Email marketing works because it is, in the great scheme of things, I would say it's one of the lower cost executions. It's not like TV advertising. Let's say this. It's a lower cost execution considering the audience that you have in front of you, right? It has a wide reach for a relatively low cost. And that's why your inbox is overrun for that. So it's a very effective way to communicate with a large audience. And also email marketing can be very effective because you can target people, right? You can buy a list. I'm not recommending it, but you can, have a list of just moms. You could have a list of moms with one children. You could have a list of moms with one children whose birthday is in June. I mean, you literally could get those. And so it's cost effective in the sense that to really do it well, I mean, you just sign up with one of these email, MailChimp or Constant Contact and people like that. And then you basically write your email and you load your database and you go for it. It's not that hard. It's not that expensive. I mean, those delivery people, they don't charge that much in relation to the size of emails that you're sending. Now, if you're sending millions of emails, that's a different story. But I'm talking about a small business. At most, you'll have a 1,500 person email list at most. I mean, some of the dental practices I've worked with and the law practices I have, one law practice that's been in business for maybe, 30, 40 years, they have an email database of 3,500 past clients, right? So that's pretty reasonable. Sending 3,500 emails every 2 weeks, that's not going to cost you much at all. So it's very, very cost effective in that regards. Email works because it's also measurable. You get instant feedback. You send out an email and you get a sense for, did they open it? Did they click on any of the links? Somebody might respond back to you. You get a vote of confidence on whether that content worked or not quite quickly. And you could take that information and you could change your content strategy, and you can basically apply that information to improve your email so that you can get to that $42 return, right? And that's average, by the way, which means there's some people making more than $42 for every dollar that they spend. And then email is also personalizable. If you're using any kind of tool out there, there's personalization tools in there. It doesn't have to say, I still can't believe I get letters in the mail saying to current homeowner. You don't want to send a to current homeowner email. You want to say, Dear Siles Kimide, that's my name, right? In case you don't know how to pronounce it. Dear Siles Kimide, you have XYZ and I want to offer this to you, and I think it's going to benefit you because of PQR. You can personalize it. And here's the kicker, man. You can automate it, right? Based on what they say, what they click, what time you send it, what sequence you want to send it. You can automate follow-ups. You can automate when they get it and things like that. So those are the main reasons why email is very effective. And just typing up one email and sending it doesn't help. But if you use those techniques, it can work really well for you. So what are the type of marketing campaigns you could use? You could send a promotional email where you're promoting a particular product or a service to drive sales. They could include discounts. They could have special offers, limited time offers, things like that. That's one type. Another type is newsletter campaign. You could have a newsletter to subscribers, keeping them updated on things like that. I subscribe to quite a few of those. They give links to upcoming conferences, Zoom trainings. I'm just staying in touch with a particular organization or a thought leader. Re-engagement campaigns. That's another one where, for a dental practice, maybe, like you have 1,500 emails, and then if you sort that email database, maybe 30% of them haven't come to see you in 2+ years, right? So you can, cut that out. You can segment that out and send them a specific email saying, hey, we haven't seen you in 2 years. What can we do to bring you back? That's a re-engagement email. You could say, hey, since you haven't been with us in 2+ years, if you come back, we'll give you a free teeth whitening or something like that. And then, of course, new leads. That's somebody signs up on your thing and said that they're interested in your product, and there's always that tiny little box that says send me promotional emails or new leads information and things like that. You could use that as well. So what are some examples of good good campaigns, right? I mean, like I said, some of these examples are not fair because these are big companies, big brands with big email budgets, marketing budgets, and things like that. But one of the things I found, I'll be honest with you, I use AI to find this, and these are the three that AI found. Mr. or Mrs. ChatGPT, I don't know what gender they are. But Nike's personalized email campaign was one that they recommended we look at. The campaign included personalized email messages with images of the user's selected design. So if they went on Nike's website and maybe they're playing around with it and they said they like this design, and if they have them in their database, they're sending them, here's other designs. You like this design? Very personalized, very targeted. Amazon's recommended for you campaign. So you bought, razors to, shave. Maybe they're sending you razors to, do your eyebrows. I don't know, clip your nose hair or clip your ear hair, something like that, right? So related products. And they're saying that this campaign was very successful and it reportedly led to a 29% increase in sales. Other one is Uber's thank you campaign. Uber's campaign was designed to thank its customers for their support and loyalty. The campaign included personalized email messages with user-specific data, such as their ride history and driver ratings, as well as a discount code as a thank you gesture. Apparently, this led to a 10% increase in customer loyalty. I don't know that I use Uber enough to get a thank you for them, but if you're still running that campaign, go ahead and send it to me. I'd love a 10% increase. I'd love to, get a loyalty or discount, anything. I'm all about the discount, as my kids know. Grammarly had an educational email campaign, apparently, that worked really well. Grammarly's email campaign was designed to educate users about its grammar and writing tool. The campaign included educational emails with tips and tricks for improving writing skills. See, I would like this one because English is not my first language, and there's still things that really, really confuses me about the English language. And I always feel like, I need to go figure this out. Does E come before I or does I come before E? Spelling certain things, the use of apostrophe, when to make it plural, when not to make it plural. I've been wanting to get educated on that ever since, I don't know, I learned English. So I would subscribe to this email database. But apparently this email campaign was very successful and reportedly led to a 400% increase in signups. See, that's worthwhile. And then Spotify has the personalized year in review. I actually like this one because they send you a snapshot of what you listen to, and it's always fun to look at it. I don't know what it does for me, but maybe it changes I shouldn't be listening to Eminem so much. I don't know, The campaign was supposedly very successful and reportedly led to a 30% increase in user engagement. I can see how that can do that. So what I'm trying to say here is you could be creative about the way in which you use your email campaigns. You can try to figure out what would jive with your audience and what would make sense for them, and go about it that way. So those are all good things, right? I mean, I've given you a lot of information so far. And so you're probably now wondering, well, what does it mean for me? Like, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for my business? So let me give you some pointers here. How can a small business like yours take advantage of email marketing? So I'm going to give you some pointers here. So if you're driving, stop the car and pull over and try to take some notes for the next 5-10 minutes, right? If you're cleaning the toilet and you're listening to this, you can stop cleaning the toilet and, go and take notes. It's going to be very valuable. All right. The first thing you want to do is build a targeted email list. If you own the list and you spend time and effort building your list, you're going to get the best response. Buying a list or renting a list is not going to get you a good response. It's going to get you a response, but it's not going to get you a good response or the type of response that you're looking for. Okay. And there's lots of ways you can build your list. I mean, if you're a dental practice, you're already capturing that information because people are signing up, those 15 forms or 20 forms you fill out when you sign up to see your dentist. There's your email right there. If people do any kind of financial transaction with you on your website, you got an email right there. Or if you want to target new people, you can have gated content on your website. You could have, hey, like I know I've done that. I speak at conferences. And so I speak at conferences and I basically offer people my content. All they have to do is go to my website and sign up to receive the content. And there you go. There's my list. So there's lots of ways you could do it. You could offer freebies. You could offer discounts. You could offer coupons. You could offer, whatever works in your industry. You could do that. But the key here is you build your own list. And when they give you their email address, make sure you have that tiny, tiny little box that says, I agree to receive, this. And then you also want to make sure that in your email template, best practices is to remind them of why you're sending them that email. It doesn't have to be in big, bold letters, but say something like, you are receiving this email because you signed up to receive promotional emails on our website or at the conference you were at or something like that, right? So build a list. Then when you're designing your email template, make sure that you use all of the personalization tools that are available to you. Actually, going back to the email list, capture information relevant to the user, right? So if you're a veterinary clinic, capture whether they came with a dog or a cat. If a dog, what kind of dog, and then maybe make a note about the services that they used and things like that. Those can be very useful for you later on down the line. Maybe you can even have, a referring, if you're an orthopedic, or orthodontist and some dentist referred you the patient, maybe have a field for referred by and have the name of the other, dentist in there. That way, later on, once you have a build list, you have a list of dentists as well, that you could market to. So anyway, lots of creative ways to do this. And then you can take that information and you can use it in your personalization settings, right? So let's go back to the veterinary office example, right? So maybe you could send 2 different newsletters, slightly different because one has cat owners and one has dog owners, right? That's an easy example. For dentists, it could be maybe patients over the age of 55 and the patients with families under 35, because their dental needs would be different. One might be looking at dentures and mouth restoration, whereas the one under, under 35, they've got kids, they might be looking at cavities and all that kind of stuff, right? So the content could be very different. So you used all the personalization tools that are available in the platform you're using and personalize that email and then get that sent to your database. Very, very useful. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're sending valuable information. There are certain people that I get emails from that I actually enjoy getting their emails. I know I'm on their list. Like just this morning, there's one guy that I subscribe to. He's a thought leader in influencer marketing. He sends an email, I think once a month. I got it this morning and I opened it up and I read through it and I looked at all the sessions that they have coming up and I signed up for one. To me, that email newsletter adds value to me professionally. It adds value to me personally. So be that kind of emailer. Be the kind of emailer, like if you're a law firm, and you're sending out email newsletters, put some email content in there that is actually very useful to somebody, right? So, I don't know your business, but think of something. And then try to automate things. Honestly, there's no excuse to not automating these days because a lot of these platforms have lots and lots of automation tools you could use. Learn to use it, and maybe you could automate based on response, maybe the time that you send it, the sequences that you need to send it for. For example, if you have a section on your website where people can sign up to receive more information, you could build out 8 or 9, email sequences to that, and have 8 emails go out timed according to the time when these people sign up for it, right? You could have a sequence of emails go out. So that can all be automated. And then based on response, you could have other trees going on, right? I have one client that has a phenomenal automation sequence built into his CRM that is just mind-blowing. I mean, depending on whether, that person, he has a sequence for people based on whether he met them at a trade show, whether they came to a seminar, whether they watched his automated webinar. Every one of those people are receiving emails that are different and relevant to where they met them, right? And what kind of product they tried. If they tried product A or product B or product C, or they showed interest in that, there's a whole sequence of emails that goes out. Honestly, I mean, if you're going to try to get to that $42 for $1 spent level, you're going to have to do these things. And the more you do it, the more of a return you're going to get. Obviously, you want to measure your results. You want to be looking at open rates, although open rates, I'm a little opinionated on open rates. A lot of providers don't report on open rates anymore. It's in my opinion, it's a very fictitious number in many ways. I got to be careful how I say that, because I know I've talked to clients and said, "Hey, your open rate's 40%." I get it. I'm because it's a standardized number that everybody knows and everybody uses, but I'm going to be on record now and say open rates, take it with a grain of salt, because open rates, like if you have an email sitting in Outlook and somebody's just going through their emails and they're just marking it as read, that's an open rate, right? Did they read it? No. Did they mark it as read? Yes. I do that all the time. And sometimes Outlook automatically opens it even as you're scanning through it, right? So that's an open rate. So not a very useful metric. There are some other metrics that are more useful though. One is click-through rate. So if somebody actually clicks on a link on your email and goes to the place that you want them to get more information, that's a good measure. I'll also temper you. Those tend to be very low, very low. So if you get 2-3% click-through rate, pat yourself on the back, have a glass of wine, take the weekend off, And then conversion rate is another one. Obviously, you can be putting UTM trackers on those clicks and then seeing where people go and what kind of actions they take on your website based on the traffic that came through. So use those metrics, look at those metrics, and make evaluations on the success of your email campaigns based on that. Something else to look at and be mindful of is deliverability. Make sure that you're not getting flagged by people as spam. Make sure you are, sticking to the ICANN rules. Obviously, if you're using a reputable sender, they're going to do those checks for you, and they're probably not going to let you send an email if you don't meet those requirements. You also need to do something with a lot of these people to claim your, authenticate your domain on their servers so that they know that you're a legit sender. I've also advised people that maybe want to do more automated campaigns, maybe because the volume does add up. I mean, I know I made it sound like it's not a lot of volume, but if you have 200 people on your list and you're sending them 8 automated emails, those numbers do add up. But there's a lot of email inboxes these days that look at their DKIM settings for your DNS and your DNS before they block you or send you. So you need to make sure that stuff's taken care of. Those are some details that you could work with your IT guy to kind of address. And I'm thinking right now, because I think I did either a blog post or an Instagram post or maybe even a short episode on this already. I'm not remembering when I did it or how I did it, but I do remember talking about it. So measure your results, see how it's performing, use that information to improve it. Don't stay stagnant. Change your design, change your layout, and things like that so that you get a good result, right? And then last note, which I really should have said earlier when I was talking about templates, use a mobile-friendly design. I mean, most people are reading their emails on their phone. They're really not going to desktop. They're reading it on your phone and things like that. So you need to make sure that your email looks good on the mobile device. The layout, the content fits well. Consider the fat thumbs, scrolling, links, pictures, whatever you have in there. Keep it simple. Make it very mobile friendly and make it so that people find it useful and that they can interact with your email really well, right? So I had a little bit more content for this, but I think I'm going to skip over it because I did cover a lot of these already. But the Smart Mail blog, that's a shout out to them. even though I didn't use their content, has a whole bunch of ideas on how to increase customer engagement with email. So check that out. Google them, Smart Mail blog, and then go to that blog and read those ideas. They have some great ideas. I'm running low on time for this episode to be able to go over all that stuff. So anyway, in this episode, we covered the reasons why email marketing works, the types of email campaigns you could run, examples of successful campaigns by known brands. And then trying to give you some inspiration there for your own brand, your own company, and then how a small business like yourself can take advantage of email marketing. So like when I opened the episode, I talked about the high ROI. I genuinely believe that there's no reason why you cannot get those numbers if you do email marketing right and you do it correctly and you follow the advice that I gave you on this podcast. So with that, I say go do email marketing, and happy marketing to you.
If you're a small business owner, a marketer in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. You'll become better educated and informed when it comes to digital marketing. And if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I discuss in this podcast, your business will grow and prosper. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. You can also search for Corner Your Market in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast, and you can subscribe through those apps. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review. Finally, I would love to hear from you, so if you have any questions, feedback, or general comments about the topics I discuss, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.